Olat Chabad Meshabato Olat Tamid Veniska. Famous verse we hear every Rosh Chodesh in the Torah reading. It actually comes from this week's Parashat Pinchas. But what does the verse mean? Well, a simple meaning. The Torah is telling us that when we offer a sacrifice of Shabbat, the special, unique sacrifice, it had to belong to that week. So, for example, the community forgot to offer a sacrifice the previous week, and now this week they want to offer two, one for last week, one for this week. Says the Torah, no, Olat Shabbat b'Shabbato. The sacrifice has to belong to that particular week and no other week. But the truth is that there's an even deeper meaning to this verse. And as the Pinchas.Rabbi explains, it comes to address a question that many people ask. Myself particularly as a rabbi who works in outreach, I get this question many times. People say, Rabbi, I'd love to keep Shabbat. But you know what? I've tried many times. It felt meaningless. We didn't feel any spiritual elevation. We put the sacrifice of not doing certain things, and yet there was nothing special about Shabbat. So we give up. But the Torah is actually addressing this and saying, Olat Shabbat, the elevation of Shabbat, if you want to feel spiritually elevated, Be-Shabbato, through resting on Shabbat, through making an effort on Shabbat. Because if you're not going to invest in the Shabbat, then you won't feel anything. Meaning if a person just goes to the beach, or a person just goes to the mall, or the person doesn't turn off his phone, or people have chit-chat conversation, which is mundane, about money, about politics, how do they expect to feel Shabbat? But one has to make an effort, Olat Shabbat, to elevate Shabbat, to feel its holiness, Be-Shabbato, through what we do on the Shabbat. So if we light candles, for example, a small thing, that makes a difference. If we turn off our phones, we disconnect from all the turmoil of the week, makes a difference. If we sit our family around the table and we have special food, and we make sure that the conversation is unique, it's holy, it's about purpose and meaning. That's how we elevate Shabbat. That's how we tap into this tremendous energy of Shabbat. But it has to start with us doing something small. So a person may say, okay, I understand, but what? Even a small thing will make such a difference to Shabbat? Maybe if I can understand if I have to do everything about Shabbat and I make an effort in all areas, okay, I'll feel the elevation. But if I do something small, that's enough? And the answer is yes. And you know, this week I saw a video which I felt was very special. You can look it up on YouTube afterwards, on the domino effect. So everyone has watched videos, I'm sure, where you push the first domino and it pushes all the other dominoes around. It's beautiful to see. But this video was unique because it was about a scaling domino. It started with a very small piece, 5 millimeters, tiny. The next domino was a bit bigger, about 1.5 times the size, and then the next one even bigger, till the 11th domino was a few meters high. And the scientist, he pushes the small domino, and there's a ripple effect, until the big domino, very heavy, high, falls down from this triggered little domino. And I thought to myself, this is exactly the point. The same thing applies to spirituality. If you make a little effort, 5 millimeter domino, then you can actually have a massive effect at the end. And that's where the word domino comes from, dominance. If a person wants to make an effect, if a person wants to have a dominance over the physical world, it starts with a small thing. One little thing will make a big difference for Shabbat. We must remember, Olat Shabbat. How do we elevate Shabbat, feel Shabbat, Be-Shabbato, through the effort that we put in to make this Shabbat special? Let's take this message and start with the first small effect already this week, which will grow by the ripple effect to the ultimate strength of a full Shabbat, the Shabbat of the coming of Mashiach, where the whole world rests in peace and harmony speedily in our days. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.